Okay, we're live. Welcome. I know you won't be able to unmute yourself for now. We'll get to a point when you'll be able to do that. But could you please confirm on the chat if you can see, well, if you can hear me, first of all, and I'm about to share my screen as well. Also confirm if you can see my screen. You're welcome to this edition of Emigrate Open Day. Emigrate is tech-enabled visa opportunity, or we also say tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. If you can see my screen, I see your chat already. Yes, you can see my screen. You can hear me as well. So fantastic. You're welcome to this edition. And in this edition of Emigrate Open Day, we will be speaking mostly around the Australian Global Talent Visa. That's what we'll be speaking about mostly during this edition. However, I'll just mention that we've had a few editions of this Open Day. The immediate last edition spoke around the UK Global Talent Visa, and we spoke about the 7 steps to endorsement for the Tech Nation Visa, which is the UK Global Talent Visa. Before then, we spoke around 5 tech-enabled routes to relocation in 2022. And if you wait till the end of this session today, we will also be talking about, we'll be giving a bonus tip around moving to the UK within a 3-month period if you do qualify. That will be at the end, towards the end of this session today. So welcome. It's around, the conversation will be around tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement, and that's what Emigrate is all about. By way of some sort of agenda for today's session, we will start by just talking about Emigrate as a service and Emigrate as a platform, what we are about, what we are trying to do, who we are. And then we will move into a section where we'll be focusing on the Australia Global Talent Visa. We'll be looking at requirements. We'll be looking at why does it exist. We'll be looking at some practical tips in terms of qualifying for that visa and also applying for that visa if you already qualify. Once we're done with that, we will open up for question and answers where you can ask any question that you would like to ask. We should have a bit of time for our open consultation session. And what happens in an open consultation is that you can come on stage, you have to switch on your camera, and you can ask any question that you want. We'll spotlight you, and you can ask any question that you want to ask, and we'll give you an answer based on our perspective and at best of our experience as well. In addition, as I mentioned, towards the end of this session today, we'll be talking briefly around moving to the UK in 3 to 6 months and a way that you can actually do that. And we're not talking about the student route today. So yeah, that's the agenda for this session today. And we'll just jump right into it. I'll also say that we have a bunch of videos of these open days. We've had these open days over the last couple of months. And so we have a lot of insights from Emigrate coaches, facilitators, and different guests who have come on this platform to share their own perspective, to share their own experience from the UK to the US to Canada to several different countries, New Zealand, Germany, and so on. We've found global talents, globally attractive people from all over the world, who countries of the world have said, oh, these people are globally attractive, and they've come to share their perspective. They've come to inspire us. They've come to give us information. And the best that you can do is take a look at some of those and also go back and watch some of those videos. As I said earlier, today we'll be focused on a skilled migration to Australia, specifically the Australia Global Talent Visa. And as you know, Emigrate is around tech-enabled visa opportunity. And so we'll be focused on the tech opportunity for that Australia Global Talent Visa. I will mention that the Australia Global Talent Visa is not only for the field of technology. However, we at Emigrate are focused for now on just technology and tech-enabled pathways. And so that's the bias in which we'll be speaking about that visa type today. Next edition of Emigrate Open Day will be speaking about the UK again, and we'll be looking at the UK Global Talent Visa. And we would have a coach, Adewale Adetono, who will be speaking to us about how he moved to the UK. And also he'll be sharing tips around the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of technology as well. So you don't want to miss that session as well. Thank you for joining us. I would just like to confirm that I'm not speaking to myself. So please just pop in the chat that you can hear me. You can see my screen, and we'll shoot right into it. Thank you. I'm seeing one, I'm seeing a message. Okay, I'm seeing a couple. Fantastic. And what is Emigrate? For us, Emigrate is around helping people to become globally attractive. The visa is only a side effect of a bigger objective. Many visas exist from many countries all over the world. Almost every first world country nowadays is trying to attract talent to their jurisdiction. They want the best of the best from all over the world to set up camp in their jurisdiction, to bring their talent, bring their innovation, bring their experience, bring their business, and help them to add value to their economy, help them to create jobs, help them to earn income where you also pay taxes, and several things like that. Almost every country in the world that is forward-thinking today has a program designed to help bring talent to their jurisdiction. We'll be talking about one of those programs from Australia mostly today, but bear in mind that this concept exists across the world today, from the French tech visa to the Canada startup visa, several of the UK global talent visa, UK startup visa. There are several of them today, all of them asking you to come, particularly if you will add value to them, particularly if you are exceptional, particularly if you are a talent. And what we do at Emigrate is we help you become globally attractive. There are two ways. One is either as a tech profile, that's you personally, or in some cases with your tech-enabled business. So that would be your startup or scale up in some cases. The visa is just a stepping stone because we believe when you get to that jurisdiction, you still need to add value. You still need to create employment. You still need to find a job and several other things that you need to do. And so don't be short-sighted to say, oh, I'm only interested in getting a visa, and so that I can, in popular parlance, japa and leave my home country, mostly in Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, or wherever it is you're connecting from today. We would say that look at the bigger picture around the fact that you want to move to that economy and you want to start adding value. You don't want to start with low-paying jobs. You want to start with high-paying job, even in that economy. And it is possible. We have many people who have done it. And we think that every one of us on this call today, watching this video today, can also do it as well. So what does Emigrate Services cover? The first is information, general inquiry. We also help with coaching and handholding. We do preliminary assessment in terms of where you are today. Do you qualify today? We help with self-directed roadmap to qualifying for many of these tech-enabled visa types, because for every one of them, if the gate was just open, then everybody will enter through the gate. And so every country of the world have designed their visa system to be able to block most people and only allow the best of the best, only allow the people that they would like to come in as well. Yes, there are loopholes in some of these programs, many of these programs, I would say, in fact. However, that's the general principle. And so you want to have some sort of roadmap for yourself, whether you built it yourself or we worked with you to build it, for you to be able to qualify for these visa types within the shortest possible time. Emigrate can help you with that. And also handholding you on that road journey, on that journey to becoming globally attractive. Emigrate can help you with that as well. And if you already qualify for these visa types, we can also help in some cases with putting together your application, because in some cases, it's not like some people don't qualify. It's just the point of if you don't present yourself in the way that country wants to see you, then they won't give you the visa because you don't have the right personal brand. They are not seeing you in the light that they are supposed to see you. And so we also help with things like the endorsement review process, endorsement process for technician visa in the UK, for example. If you want help with reviewing your application, if you want help with the endorsement review process and so on, Emigrate services are available for that as well. And we do a lot of things for free. Emigrate operates a freemium model, which means that we do a lot of things for free, but we do have some premium services as well. We ask that please take advantage of the Emigrate services that are available to you, including the Open Day, Emigrate Open Day that we host every two Wednesdays a month for now. We host the Emigrate Open Day. Some of the free services include the information and inspiration. It includes Emigrate's community, which is a free community we are building around people interested in this tech-enabled visa pathway. We have our monthly open day. It's free to the Emigrate community. We have introductory videos that you can watch across some of the different visa types. We have the open consultation sessions that we do from time to time, where you can come in and ask your own question, which is unique to your own perspective. We also host short inquiry sessions, private short inquiry sessions. However, for now, it is limited to just one short inquiry session per person. What we advise is that before you register for that short inquiry session, please consume almost all of these informations that are available for free, not just from Emigrate, but also the specific visa you may be interested in. There's a lot of information in public domain. Start with free. Start with those information because they are also helpful, very helpful. But then no two individuals are the same. Different people have different background. Different people have unique circumstances, from family situation, from previous background to previous experience to where you are today, and several other things like that. And we're able to help with that with a private inquiry session, short inquiry session, where you can ask your own specific questions as well. All this for free. In addition to that, we do have some premium services as well. These are paid services, including Emigrate Circle, which is a private community now of people who are more focused on their specific tech-enabled journey towards a particular visa pathway or the other. We have the personalized coaching session, which helps with something specific that you may be looking out for. We help with the standard package, the Emigrate Premium service, and we do have other custom services as well. If you're interested in any of these, the URL is on the screen that you can go to be able to get more details and also engage with us. We ask that you engage with us as well in the Emigrate communities. We do have the free communities, which are now available on 5 different social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We try as much as possible to answer questions, so you can ask some of your questions in there as well for you to get specific answers. And also other members of the community may be able to answer your question as well. They may be able to solve challenges that you have on your pathway towards being globally attractive. They may be able to help with information around the application process and several other things that you may need as well. So we ask that engage with the Emigrate community, like and share and comment and engage as well. We're looking forward to that community becoming more and more and more active as well. In addition to those Emigrate services I've mentioned, Emigrate is also a product of Bincom Dev Center. And Bincom Dev Center has a number of other services as well. I will tell you about a few of them which are related to this session we're having today. One of them is the Bincom Global Tech Program, and it's a program that helps you to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. If you're starting your journey afresh in the field of technology and you're a beginner, you're trying to learn, this program is for you. It's a 1 to 2 year journey. It is a very intense journey. It's not really about us teaching you. You actually learn by doing. You would need a lot of time to be able to go through that program. But what it does is that at the other end of the program is you becoming globally attractive. Also, if you already have started learning skills in technology and you don't have the right combination of experience and exposure in the field of technology, this program is also for you, because the focus is not just about the skills, but you can also gain experience and gain exposure in the field of technology. It gets better. The company also says that we can take a bet on you. And so we say you can learn tech now and pay later. What that means is that the company, with something called the income sharing agreement, this is one of the payment options for this particular program, would say that, oh, don't worry, you will pay your fees at the other end of the journey, at the point when you have become globally attractive and different countries of the world wants you, different companies all over the world wants you. They don't want you at the point where you have zero skills, zero experience, zero exposure. They want you when you have high skill, high experience, and high exposure. And that's what this program helps you to do. And then you can learn now and pay later. If you're interested in that, the URL is on the screen, bincom.net/globaltech. You can use that to get more information about this particular program. We also have the Bincom mentoring platform, which helps us connect mentors to mentees in a structured mentoring environment. Some of us may know, particularly those of us that are experts in the field, that mentoring is one of the ways in which you can show yourself as globally attractive. However, with many of these visa options, they don't want informal mentoring. They would like to see you mentoring on a structured platform, on a formal platform, and the Bincom mentoring platform gives you that opportunity. We're currently open to new mentors, and so you can register to become a mentor within the Bincom mentoring platform. And we have mentees as well who are looking for your mentorship, your direction in terms of helping them to grow. In exchange for that, you are also building your own profile, showing a signal that you are globally attractive. We also have Labs by Bincom, and Labs by Bincom helps you to build your own startup. Some of us may be familiar with the fact that having a startup, either an experience of a startup, even if your startup failed or not, helps you to show yourself as globally attractive, helps you to show yourself as highly sought after, because if you've done it before, you can likely do it again. We have something called Labs by Bincom that gives you a platform to be able to do that, particularly if you are doing this for the first time, or if you are looking for a team of like-minded people who are also interested in building something. It's a 3 to 6 month program, and you get in a team of between 3 to 10 people to create a startup from scratch. You would create a startup that uses a product-led digital technology that end users will be using. Real life users will be using your solution as part of you being in Labs by Bincom. It's a practical learning opportunity. It helps you to improve your career and also helps you to improve your portfolio as a techie. If you need more information, bincom.net/labs would help you get more information on that. The last service I will talk about is the Headhunter service that helps particularly for now for the UK, but in the future, it would be for many other countries of the world. If you are looking for tech employment, and it's tech employment and recruiting service for individuals, one of the ways to land your next role faster in the UK is for you to have UK experience, right? The Headhunter service would help you to build the relevant experience in the country that you are interested in. What that does is that once you get your visa, you are able to land your next role faster. You are able to build the right experience in your target country starting today. And then you are also able to get the right connection to technical recruiters who are looking for you. We're currently running Bincom Headhunter service for the UK, but we are looking at expanding that to many other countries of the world in the nearest future. And so particularly if you're interested in landing a role in the UK within the shortest possible time, bincom.net/headhunter is something you may want to take a look at. For many of us on this call, this may be a slide that you want to take a screenshot of. Because when we say tech-enabled visa, and a route to settlement and relocation. These are some options available today from various countries of the world. And so you may want to take a screenshot of this and also go Google some of these visa type, because all this information is actually in the public domain. The US has the O1 visa. We have a success on that, another success on that actually, right? The EB1 visa, Canada startup visa, French tech visa. We have the UK startup visa, innovator visa, the UK global talent visa, and several other visa types. As I mentioned at the beginning of this session, many of the forward-thinking countries of the world, they have a visa opportunity or the other. If you are watching the news, or if you're part of our community, you would know that Spain is launching their own tech-enabled visa pathway that you should probably take a look at and watch out for, because when some of these visa types come out, you may want to be one of the first few people to apply for some of those visa type as they are experimenting themselves. So the countries of the world are also experimenting, because what they want is they want their domain to be attractive for you as a talent. And so you may want to check that out. Spain also just launched a visa, it hasn't launched, it's going to launch within the next couple of weeks, a visa type that is very interesting to look at. Several of them, and we're on this call today because we'll be looking deeply into a particular country, which is Australia, and we'll be focusing on the Australia Global Talent Visa. There's a lowest common denominator for all these visa types. The lowest common denominator is that you need to be globally attractive. You need to be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, then you have options, then you have choices, then you can decide that, oh, I'm not going to America, I prefer Germany because my family would fare better in Germany. That's what one of the guests at Emigrate Open Day talked about. You would have options of wherever it is you want to go in the world. You will not be going cap in hand begging, but you will be going as an expatriate. You will be going as a talent, coming to build the economy, coming to create jobs, coming to earn high salary, meaning you are going to pay high taxes, bringing your innovation to that economy and several other things like that. That's the lowest common denominator. And so if you don't get anything from today's session, we ask that you take this with you, which is that you need to focus on becoming globally attractive. But then after you become globally attractive, you also need to show yourself as globally attractive. And that brings us to today's session, where we will be discovering Australia, where we'll be going to Australia and looking at the global talent visa, particularly the one for tech professionals. We'll be looking at that in depth today. But then some people will say, oh, for this particular visa, I don't yet qualify. Then what am I doing here? What we say is that you need to plan. The opportunity must meet your preparation. For those of us that qualify today, of course, you also need to plan, because you need to package yourself in the light in which the assessors, in this case, Australia, will be looking at. And we'll talk a bit in depth about that today. But if you do not yet qualify, you don't have the required number of years of experience, you don't have the required amount in terms of salary, earnings, and so on, what you should be doing is listening and projecting to say, oh, if I do this, do this, do this, and if I'm lucky or favored, or blessed, depending on what you see it as, you will qualify in the future. And so don't shut it off to say, hey, this one they are talking about is not me. It can be you. And that's why we are having this discussion today. However, for this particular visa type for Australia, it is for the more senior people in the field of technology. If you have over 8 years of experience in technology, if you've run big projects, major projects in the field, in your own country, obviously not necessarily globally, if you are exceptional in your field of practice, and we'll talk a bit more about that, A PhD is an advantage, but I mean, we know of many people that have gotten this particular visa, even without a PhD. You need to earn a high salary in the field of technology already. So this is not a visa type for beginners. This is not a visa type for people at the intermediate level. This is a visa type for people who are already at a senior level, advanced level in the field of technology. But there's a caveat. If you look at the requirement very well, and there are many people who have gotten this visa that do not earn a high salary per se, you have to be able to show that you have the potential of earning a high salary. So there is a possibility there, and we'll look into that as well. You don't need to do English tests depending on what you have. There's no need for an in-depth skills assessment. If you are above the age of 45, you can apply. And in fact, well, at the age of 55, you would have to do more proof that you are going to be of benefit to the Australian economy. But if you are above the age of 45, which is usually the golden age where, oh, these visas are not for me, right? But this is one of those visa type. If you've already gotten to a certain level and you're exceptional in your field, it's also one of the visa types that is really fast-tracked in Australia today, and it allows you to live and work anywhere in Australia. In addition, you can bring your family along to Australia as well. Australian government set up the Global Business and Talent Attraction Task Force, and their main aim is to attract global talents to Australia. So they set up a department for you to say that, oh, if you are globally attractive, they want you in their country. In fact, they've also sent people, and they have offices all over the world where they have people to say, oh, go and attract these global talents to come to our country. If you have options, Australia may not be on the top of your list, but then you may also decide that, oh, Australia is a place where I want to go because of many advantages. One of them is healthcare. Healthcare is one of the advantages in Australia. They are looking for exceptional talent in many industries, not only in tech, as I mentioned, but mostly in tech, from cybersecurity to fintech, and several others as well. They are looking for you. You have to be exceptional. You have to be top of your field. You have to be excelling in your field, right? And they are also interested if you're an entrepreneur as well. Yes, so we're going to jump now. I'm going to share my other screen, and we're going to be looking at some browser tabs where we will be using those tabs to just talk about the requirements. We'll be using that tab to talk about what you need, what you should have, and where you can find the information that you would need to find out more about the visa, apply for the visa if you already qualify, plan if you don't yet qualify, but plan with information. Plan with information that is available to you today. Please confirm if you can see my screen. You can send it in the chats. Can you see my screen? You should be seeing yet another visa category. Just trying to make sure it's fantastic. Thank you. I see your comments. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Now, for this particular visa type, the Global Talent Visa, it actually existed with another name a couple of years ago. What, however, happened was that they found out that a lot of people that did not qualify, that did not meet the criteria that they wanted people to meet, were applying. And so the requirements in terms of qualification has become a bit stricter now in terms of the particular visa. However, it's still the same principle. There's the Office of the Global Business and Talent Attraction Task Force, as I mentioned, and they've put together different visa types that people can take a look at. One of that visa type is the Global Talent Visa Program. But that's not the only visa type that is available. There's also the Global Talent Employer Sponsored Program. There's also the Global Talent. There are a couple of visa types as well. There's also specific visas around innovation that you may want to take a look at as well. Now, in terms of the Global Talent Visa, this specific visa is for highly skilled professionals, and it enables them to live and work in Australia permanently. It leads directly to permanent residency in Australia. And the reason why they have this visa available is because they know that it would help with you creating jobs as well, because with highly skilled people, naturally, a lot of other jobs are created because you are in their economy. It would help with promoting innovation and several other benefits like that. So they are not doing you a favor. They want you in their economy because they know you will add value to their economy because you are a talent. In terms of the specific visa we're talking about, it's subclass 858. They use numbers to categorize the different visa types that they have. There are other visa types as well that you may want to look at if you are skilled and not yet highly skilled. If you are skilled and you don't yet earn high salary, but some of those visa types are tied to employers. So if you get a job offer that can offer you sponsorship, then yes, you would get a visa. However, the employer has to show that, oh, they looked and looked and looked in their own domain, in their own jurisdiction, and they couldn't find anybody else that will fit into the role that they've hired you for. This visa is different. This one does not tie you to any employer, so you can go from one employer to the other as you see fit. You get to stay in Australia permanently. You can work and study. You can do anything it is that you want. You can enroll in the public healthcare scheme in Australia, and that's a big deal. For those of us that are very senior, you will probably know that healthcare is very, very, very important. Right? Because if you are not covered, and a lot of people based in America probably know this more than anyone else, you are actually one medical emergency away from being broke, no matter how much it is that you earn, if you don't have the right kind of healthcare. You can also bring your relatives, particularly your dependents, to Australia. And it gives you permanent residency, and then you're eligible if you are in the field of technology, amongst many other things as well. Let's move on. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the target sectors that they are looking for, there are different sectors that they have come up with to say, if you are in this sector, they really, really want you. If you're in other sectors as well, you can still apply, but the sectors in which they have decided as a country to say, if this person is skilled in this particular sector, then we want them. I'll talk about some of the ones that are in tech. You can see ag tech. So if you are focused on ag tech and you have a lot of skill in that space, they want you. Digitech, if you have these skills on the screen, I'm trying to run for time now, they want you. Fintech, if you have these skills, fintech, they want you. Regardless of what field it is, you need to qualify under two things. Number one is that you need to prove that you are internationally recognized with evidence of outstanding achievements. You must prove that. Number two, you have to still be prominent in your field of expertise. What that means is that you can't say that, oh, I was the best 10 years ago in a certain sector, but I've not been practicing now. I want to just go and retire in Australia. They don't want you if you are retired already. They want you because you are still active and you can build and add value in their economy. You can provide evidence that you will be an asset to Australia, and there are different ways you can do that. You will have no difficulty obtaining employment if you are highly skilled, because there's a huge scarcity of highly skilled people all over the world. Huge scarcity. We are talking about hundreds of millions of roles that are on field today because people they can't find the right people to get those roles. And at the same time, there's a lot of unemployment in the world today, a mismatch. And so what you want to do is, if you're highly skilled, then they are looking for you. Senior roles across all of this. And you have to have an high income threshold. But something that a lot of people miss is the fact that you could also show future job offers. You can also show a recent PhD in the field. But let's talk about future job offers, because if your current salary does not meet this threshold, this is around 100,000 US dollars, slightly over 100,000 US dollars. That's what you need to be earning annually to be able to qualify for this visa type. However, even if you are not earning that yet, there's a way around it. And I think I have a tab on that. We'll talk about that. Or if there are questions on that, you can also pop your question in the chat. Sorry. Yes, so let's talk about the eligibility. And this is in public domain. I will just show a few things I would like to point out because I would like to leave a bit of time for questions at the end of today's session. In terms of age, if you are over 55, you would need to do extra work in terms of convincing them that you would be of benefit to the economy of Australia, but you can still apply. If you are less than 55, even better. Regardless of what age you are, there are a lot of different things that you need to do. The other loophole, the other gates is the fact that you need to be nominated by either an Australian citizen, an Australian permanent resident, or an Australian organization. And we'll talk to you about an organization that would be able to give you an endorsement for this visa type as well. It gives a lot of other information around a bunch of other things that you should know about this visa type, specifically Australia. And in terms of the process starts with you expressing interest, or if you're attracted or daunted by one of the people I mentioned, you will still go through the same process of expressing interest in the visa type. And so there are two challenges. The first one is, how do I show high income? Second one is that, how do I get an Australian organization to endorse me for this visa? And that's where this comes in. In Australia, one of the organizations that can help in terms of skills assessment is the ACS, Australian Computer Society. And I mean, it's like any other computer society, they do a lot of different things. But one of the things that they do is the migration skills assessment. They do this not just for the global talent visa, because there are also skills assessment needed for different types of visas as well. So remember, I mentioned that one of the things that you need is an Australian company to endorse you for this particular visa type. And that is where ACS then comes in, because with the ACS, you can then be assessed and then endorsed for the specific visa type that you are, for the specific visa type, which is the global talent visa. And then particularly if you're in any of these fields of endeavor as well. The ACS is what you're looking for, and they have a lot of information on their website around this information, around this. We're running a bit out of time, so if you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and then we would use that. So please drop your questions in the chat. In terms of the ACS, their requirements is also online, and these are some of the things that you will probably need to know. These are some of the things that you need to submit in terms of showing that you're exceptional, and it shows the evidence that they would like to see from you. They don't just want anyone to apply for this visa, or even if you apply, they would not be able to endorse you. They will not be able to recommend you for that specific visa. What a lot of things they want to see, including your experience, the places you've worked in the past, I would just say that, I mean, if you have 8 to 10 years experience, that's fine, because even if your university degree and so on does not count, what would happen is that you can use previous learning and to show that, oh, I qualify in terms of the knowledge and so on. You don't have to have a PhD, but it's clear that if you have a PhD, it's a very good advantage for this specific visa. We'll be hearing briefly from an Australian global talent as part of today's edition as well. And then, yes, the evidence that you need are available here in terms of what you need to show. One of the major ones is the evidence of your current remuneration in terms of your current salary. However, there's a way around even the salary as well, because what you can show is that you have the potential to earn that salary. This is more information as well around, I'll just scroll through this because I'm running out of time, right? This is more information around some of the things that you need as well in terms of requirements, your university certificate, your letters of employment, because you have to show your employment history for the last 10 or whatever number of years of experience that you are claiming, and there must be no gap in that employment history. So they want to see all the places you've worked, and you will get references, you will get letters, and you will show your bank statements showing the salaries in these different places where you've worked. In the past, you needed to submit all your bank statements showing salaries every month and with no gap. Nowadays, they are only asking you to show the beginning and the end of each employment. And in terms of the bank salary, the bank statement showing the salary payment of that particular one. The amount you need to be earning is there. And in terms of the showing that you earn high income, if you don't currently earn that high income over $100,000, don't fret, particularly if you are qualified, because you can show that, oh, I do qualify for these jobs, whether it's engineering manager, whether it's as a senior developer, whether it's as a cybersecurity expert, and so on. You can actually show that, oh, I qualify for this job. The only reason why I'm not being offered this job is because I'm not currently in Australia. And that's the information. So senior React, and so senior front-end developer, and several other roles like that, depending on what level you are. The key information and the key thing is that you need to qualify for those things. And then you can then use the Australian Global Talent Visa to go to that jurisdiction in itself as well. There's a lot of information in public domain on this visa specifically, and we hope that, I mean, this information that you've seen so far would help you to then start taking a look around, oh, what are the things that I need to do? As I mentioned at the beginning of this, there are two options. Either you already qualify, and that means that, oh, I can then start putting together my application and so on if I'm interested in this particular country. Or if you do not already qualify, then what you probably want to be doing is that you want to be taking a look to see a roadmap, have a roadmap around being able to qualify in the nearest future. That's information around the Australian Global Talent Visa. I hope that was useful. I will be sharing a few other information around that visa type, but I think it will be a good time to leave some time for questions around the Australian Global Talent Visa, or maybe any other tech-enabled visa as well. It will be a good time for questions. So if you have questions, please pop them in the chat. But just as a quick recap, if you're exceptional, they are looking for you. The process is clear. ACS is the place to go to. ACS receives most of, are able to do endorsement, and they get a lot of different requests in terms of skills assessment across different types, one of them being the Global Talent Visa. You will need to be nominated. You don't need a proof of English per se, because you can literally show your degree as a proof of English. Your age is not a barrier, even if you are over 55 or not. The most important thing is that you have all the information and you are globally attractive. That's the most important thing for this particular visa type as well. I did mention that we'll be talking about a way you can move to the UK in 3 months. And so after questions, we'll be able to talk about that, and we'll have this as a close. So questions can be in two forms. The first way is that you can drop your questions in the chat. It can be about the Australian Global Talent Visa. It could also be about any other visa types that we've spoken about at Emigrate. It could be about tech-enabled visa opportunities or any one of those. You can drop them in the chat. The second one is that you can raise your hand on Zoom, and then we can put you on Spotlight, and you will be able to ask your question live. You will need to turn on your video. We can't spotlight you if your video is not on. And please bear in mind that this session is being recorded, and so do not reveal private information that you don't want to see on the internet. That being said, I would leave room for questions now while we try to, yes, so I'll leave room for questions now. All right, 1 minute as we try to get our Australian global talent in the room. I'll be right back. So please drop your question or raise your hand on Zoom. 1 minute and 2 minutes or so, and I'll be right back. All right, Mr. Dapo will be online shortly, who will be also answering some questions around the Australia Global Talent. All right, good. So I'm taking questions from the chat first while we wait for him to join the room. A question, talking about being exceptional or internationally attractive, how can one achieve that? Well, I think we've been talking about this for a while, but I'm going to answer it in a slightly different way to say, take a look at the requirement of the visa type. Be it the UK tech-enabled visa, Tech Nation visa, startup visa, and so on, and then work your way backwards to where you are today, and draw up a map to say, these are all the things they're asking me for. If I want to apply in a year's time, in 2 years' time, or if I already qualified today, then what are the things I need to do? If I already qualified today, obviously put together the information and package it well as well. A lot of people get rejected, not because they don't qualify according to the criteria, but because they did not package the information well. If you don't yet qualify, then plan over a period of time to say, this is how I'm going to be able to qualify for that specific visa type. And I hope that helps the person that asked that question. As I mentioned, you can drop your questions in the chat, or you can drop your questions. You can raise your hand in Zoom and turn on your camera. We will be able to put you on the stage and you can ask your question from there. I'm taking another question that says, I'm a computer engineer. I've worked with Jimmy Carter Center, Nigeria office. I have a master's degree. I won an international award of excellent performance field manager. Am I fit for the Australia Global Talent Visa? I'm a Microsoft expert. You have a bunch of things that they are looking for, obviously. A few things that you probably want to talk about is also, do you currently earn a high salary in the field, equivalent of around $100,000 US, or do you have the potential to earn that? Do you have the right qualification, the right level of experience, the right level of exposure to be able to earn that high salary? That's something that is very important, particularly for the Australian global talent. In addition to that, you have to also compile your different achievements. You have to compile some of the projects that you have worked on in the past. You have to compile the different information that you do have around yourself. And those are the things that you can take a look at in terms of applying for these visa type. Yes, so in terms of applying for this visa type, these are some of the ones that you can use. I will be speaking briefly to an Australian global talent who is in the room already. Thank you so much. It's very, very, very early in Australia. And so we're really excited to have you here. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. But before we just hear from Mr. Dapo, I will just say that we were talking about the UK. We've discovered that many people, well, a few people in the community, one of the visas that people target is the UK student route. So the student visa in the UK with a plan to say, oh, fine, I will get the student visa 1 year and then 2 years post-work study. And then between that 3 years of 1 year student visa post-work study, I would find a way to switch my visa to something else, because the student visa does not have a pathway to settlement. Post-work study also doesn't have a pathway to settlement. If you would do that, not because you are trying to learn, if you would do that because you just want to leave your home country, then you may want to think of other alternatives because you are a global talent, because you are globally attractive. One of those other alternatives is the UK startup visa or the UK innovator visa. The UK startup visa has no pathway to settlement as well. However, with the startup visa, it is actually cheaper for you in the long run. Because if you say, oh, in 3 years, I'm going to look for a pathway for settlement, right? Then you might as well say in 2 years, I'm going to look for a pathway to settlement. Usually that's getting a skilled work visa that was a work that will sponsor you, because it's easier to get that work if you are in the UK. We're saying that take a look at the UK startup visa. One of the gates for the UK startup visa is getting an endorsing body to endorse you. We can help with that. The second one is around also being able to find a pathway for settlement eventually. We can help with that. The third one is that you need to add value to the UK economy during that time as well. We can help with that. Bear in mind that with the startup visa, you can actually work full-time, not part-time like the student visa, if you are working on your startup in addition to working full-time as well. Mr. Dapo, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I would not be able to spotlight you if your camera is not on, but this is being recorded, so it's fine if you don't want to. Oh, okay, thank you, I see you. I'm going to be spotlighting you now. We spent some time speaking about the about the Australia Global Talent Visa. And I wanted to start off the conversation to say, is Australia really looking for global talents to come to their economy? Why is this visa available? Are they really looking for global talent to come? I know you're a global talent yourself. And what do you think, sir?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this platform. And is it good evening now to everyone over there?
Yes, it's good evening.
All right.
Good morning to you.
Essentially, Australia is actually in need of talents, especially exceptional talents in the tech field. Exceptional talents in the tech field as one of the key areas that they're trying to attract the best brains.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, sir.
So it's a good platform it's a good route that one can actually explore to get to settle down in Australia, and also to at least to do meaningful things with oneself.
Fantastic. How was the application process for you? Was it very easy? Was it difficult? Were they asking for too many things that you didn't have? How was that application process for you, sir?
Well, essentially, I would say going through the education route, in the sense that I was studying for my PhD. So PhD was one of the many interesting or useful requirements that I could explore, because it gave me a platform, or it made it easy for me to identify an area of research that was relevant to the Australian economy.
Yeah.
It gave me an opportunity to look at how my skills that I've acquired can make me employable. How what I'm learning can be of benefit to not Australia alone, but globally. So, and I was also able to identify like a professional who is like a mentor to me, who could nominate me for the visa.
Okay.
And the process did not take long. I was able to participate in the first year of the program, and in 3 months, I got my visa.
No.
I put in all I had, meaning all my certificates, my resume, my publications, conferences attended, awards, and those just it. And they will ask specific statements like I should write an essay about what I've been doing. How do I think I'll be an exceptional contribution to the Australian society? How will I be able to not find challenges working, getting a job? So one will just go online and look for information here and there and put. But recently, the whole thing has been updated again now that they are now asking a bit more specific questions like, are you employed while you are getting this visa? And to start with, to even get into the mainstream of whether one will be considered or not, initially, they never requested for so many information. Like when I put in for mine, they only requested me to submit my CV and an evidence that I'm in the last 6 months of my PhD.
Yep.
Last 6 months, which I was able to get an enrollment status for my university, which I supplied. And
Okay.
after they assessed it, they issued me what we call a unique identifier code, which is the unique code that I'm going to put in the online application all through from the beginning. That will be specifically for me. So once one gets that code, then one is like giving a key to open a door. Then you supply all the normal information, the character, and they will check the character background, they will check for family, marriage, and all these other things. That's one aside. Then they will now begin to ask you questions specifically related to being a global talent. Okay, how many conferences have you attended? Do you have any papers or publications? Do you have any exceptional awards? Do you have any community involvement, like any volunteering? And they'll ask you all those ones. You put evidences of all those ones too in the main application, and then you pay. The money too is much. If you get online and you check, the money is actually more depending on your family size also. If you're applying as an individual, that's fair enough. But for me, that I had to apply for 4 family members, that was a lot of money. So, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
If one can meet all the requirements, I think it's really worth it to explore. The most important thing is, like I said, getting someone to nominate you for this talent visa.
Yeah.
You may necessarily not be in Australia, but if you have a reliable hand or reliable relationship or collaborator here in Australia who is in the same field, you don't necessarily have to be a researcher. You can actually be a working class that is working, but you have someone who can nominate you for your area of work, and the person too has to have a good reputation.
Thank you so much, sir. I was just going to ask around. I mean, I know you are not in the core tech field per se. With the Australian Computer Society, I mean, they are one of the nominators, and they do nomination for a fee where they will assess you, and then they are able to nominate you using that nomination. But aside from that, if people have relationship connections, either they've started building it now, they already do. How do they approach these nominators to say, oh, can you nominate me for this visa?
Well, essentially, like I told some friends, it's just about trying. You know, it's not very easy for you to just send an email to someone that you never knew before, but I believe there's nothing that is not possible. Like, if, for instance, you go online and you check someone that has a good profile, and then because definitely whoever wants to nominate you is putting his own reputation on the line too.
Yeah.
So the person wants to have an idea that you really have what it takes. You have a good work history. You have good employment history. Because the person too, well, first of all, check. Like what ACS usually does is you even need to write a letter to them detailing all what you have. And they will need to see them as proofs and evidences that okay, you said you have this, let's see it. You said you have that, let's see this. So I think that's still a likely way too of what can be explored. Let's not have it trying, nothing ventured, nothing
Nothing
gained.
gained.
So one can try. It's better to try and fail than not to try at all. Because when we fail, it just redirects us on what another option we can explore.
Yeah, I'll ask one more question, sir, and I'll ask the audience as well that if you have a question for our guest, you can also drop it in the chat. It's really early for him, and so we'll let him go. Sir, there are two types of audience in the room as at right now. There are people who are just starting their journey or in the middle of their journey in tech. They may not yet be qualified, but the question is that what can they be doing today so that they can qualify in the future? Can you give some advice to them? And then there's a second category of people who are already qualified, they're already top of their field, they earn high salary in some cases, or they have high potential in some cases, a lot of experience as well. What can you advise them? So those two categories, beginners and then experts as well.
Okay, well, for anyone that is beginning, I believe there is always something we can contribute. I will say it this way: we should not wait until when we get to the top before we make impact. We should start making impact. Sorry, excuse me. We should start making impact from now. Impact in the sense that look for problems we can solve, look for one or two things we can contribute for anyone that is beginning, and we should keep building up ourselves. Capacity building. Don't just remain only on, for instance, someone that just studied the bachelor's program. If you can get another degree, another professional qualification, if you can apply for competitive grants, competitive, even if it's a 3-month course, attend it, get some knowledge out of it, something that will make you outstanding. Like in my own case now, even during my PhD, I just saw a poster presentation that my institute advertised. You know, they won't come and, because at this level, they believe you should be able to take responsibility for your life. They won't come and school you, okay, are you interested? I saw it and I told my supervisor that I saw a program, I'm willing to apply. She said, sure, go for it. So I prepared I was presenting on one of my part of my work. So I drove down there to the main campus. I even got there early because I missed my road, you know. It's a big city, driving in the city is always very interesting. So, but as God will have it, I was one of the winners. Out of 30 winners, I was one of them. I won a travel award, 1,500 Australian dollars with a certificate, which for me is not really part of my program. So it was like an icing on the cake. And other things we could do in the community, and other things we could do in the community, like look for people that have needs, find a way of meeting needs so that you can build a profile. Everything must not just only be academic or work. Look for extra things. They don't want someone who is just having to be a superstar only in his field, but look for other things that also complement the growth process.
Yeah.
For whoever is already a professional, what I can advise the person to do is to also strengthen themselves and build networks. The higher you go in life, the higher you become more professional in your field. One needs to really let me say, leverage on building external networks. Recently, I met someone in the UK. She just posted it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn. That she won a grant. She was even based at the University of Leeds. She's a researcher like myself. So I just connected with her. I never met her before, and I was just applying for a grant recently. So I just said, oh, I am also looking for an opportunity. Anyone that is interested, we should collaborate. And I just sent her a chat, and we've been communicating. Wow, we just organized to have a meeting. You know, so it's possible that you just go online and connect with people. I also connected with the professor in the US who is working my field. I've not met him face to face, but I just took the bold step. I wrote him an email. I started communicating with him, and he was responding. He's based in the US, and yeah. So while that's so doing, you will soon realize that you'll be meeting people of like minds, so that you may never even know who knows what you want. You know, it's like a chain. You are connected to someone who is connected to someone who is connected to someone, so that even at the time of recommendation, even rather than visa, it may even be for job opportunities. you have someone who already knows things that can tell you, okay, do it like this, or I know someone who can recommend.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I was just going to say last question, but I think another question just popped in. Do I need someone in Australia? I have all the requirements that Mr. Dapo is talking about. How do I start? I don't know if you have any advice for this person on the chat. And then like, how much do I need to prepare for? Then someone else asked that, can I have the, okay, yeah, we can answer this other one on the website.
Let me see the questions so that I will be able to give a response.
So
okay, when I mean, do you need someone in Australia? Well, in essence, the person you need in Australia should be someone that can nominate you. That is just all I've got to say. You don't need to have a family member here. You just need a professional, someone that has a good profile that can nominate you for the visa. Because even after meeting all the requirements, they need you to have an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, or a New Zealand citizen or a permanent resident who can nominate you in that field. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
how much do you need to prepare for this? Well, what I'm going to answer about that is the information is on the internet. Just type Australia Global Talent Visa. The whole information is there. But if you need specific information, I can chat you up on that later, but it's not because I'll have to like dig it out and give you there's also calculator, like a budget calculator on how to calculate for individual. Well, I paid about, for myself, my visa cost me about 4,150 Australian dollars. My wife paid half. My two children paid half of my wife. So eventually, for the visa alone, I spent close to 8,000, between 8,500 Australian dollars. Medicals, you will pay. For English tests, you need the basic one. You still pay for English test and also other background checks, maybe police check and all this things. So that's why I said it's something one really needs to sit down and check through each of the, go through the checklist of what and what and what will need money, because even for you to certify some documents, you need to go and pay for the notary public in the court. Yeah, it's expensive, but I think it depends on what you want.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dapo. Thank you.
So have I captured all the questions?
Yes, I believe you have. The last one was around the website that I can get enough details. Just Google Australia Global Talent Visa. You will see a lot of different websites. As we always advise on Emigrate platform, start with the official information. A lot of these countries of the world, they are interested in giving you all the information up front. So start from there. And of course, you can also find a lot more information in the public domain as well. Mr. Dapo, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time of joining us today. We really appreciate you. I'll just share my screen again and just recap some of the things we've said today. First of all, around Emigrate itself, to say that if you are globally attractive, the different countries of the world want you. The visa itself is only a side effect. It's a stepping stone. At the end of the day, you need to add value in your country or the country where you've gone to. With Emigrate, our services cover starting with information like this open day we've had today, general inquiry and holding. And then we also focus on some specific visa type, particularly the UK, Canada, France, and the US, right? We've shown you some of the visa types that are available. So for example, if you're trying to apply for the UK Global Talent Visa and you need help with your endorsement application, you can contact us in Emigrate, and several others as well. If you need help with handholding, and if you need help with also a roadmap to qualifying, or if you already qualify and you need help to review, we can help with that as well. In terms of Emigrate services, we have a lot of things that we do for free, including information and inspiration, including the monthly open day, including the Emigrate community that we are building as well, of people who are interested in these tech-enabled visa opportunities. In addition to that, we also have some premium services that are available to you as well. We ask that please start with the free, start with the things that are available for you for free. Don't just air this information, take action as well. If you already qualify, take action. If you don't already qualify, there are also actions that you need to take, including but not limited to the fact that you need to plan your profile to qualify for this visa type eventually as well. Our next Emigrate Open Day will be focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. We'll be having a coach, Adewale Adetono, who's going to be speaking to us around how I moved to the UK. And that Open Day is going to be holding on 16th of February. And that's where we'll be speaking around the UK Global Talent Visa. Right after that, on the first Wednesday of March, we will be focusing on moving to the UK in 3 months, in 3 to 6 months. That's what we'll be talking about in the next one right after that. Thank you so much for joining us at this edition of Emigrate Open Day. We hope that this was informative. We hope that this was useful for you. If it was, please give us feedback. Give us feedback online. Share information about Emigrate with your circle, with your community. Let them know that these visa opportunities are available. Let them also know that we have the Emigrate community that is designed to help people become globally attractive. A lot of things we do are for free, but we do have some premium services as well. Do not just take this information and not do anything about it. We've shared a lot of things today, a lot of it in public domain, but there are also information that Mr. Dapo has shared from his own unique perspective. If you, this is being recorded and the link to the video is just being dropped in the chat just now. And so you can go back, watch the video. You can also share it with people in your network around just sharing this information. Be your brother's keeper. One of the things we found is that many people don't even know that these opportunities exist. But worse still is that there are people that know it exists, but when they hear global talent, exceptional talent, and so on, they don't think it's them. And so they just ignore it because they don't think that they can qualify in the future. We've also found many people who qualify today, but it's just because they didn't package themselves well. They didn't put the application together in the way in which the assessors need to be able to see them. We're not saying lie or anything like that. We do not support that at all. We are saying be globally attractive, but then you have to also show that you are globally attractive by the things that you do, by the things that you engage in. The requirements are out there. They are in public domain. You know where you are today. You know what the requirement is. You can intelligently plan to say between now and X, depending on how far away you are from the requirement, I'm going to meet these requirements. As I said earlier, many countries of the world want you in their jurisdiction as long as you can show that you are a talent and you will add value to the economy. And so what are you waiting for? Take action today. Thank you so much. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next edition of Emigrate Open Day. Mr. Dapo, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I know it's so early, and we really appreciate that you were able to join us at this edition. Appreciate you, and good night or good morning, depending on what side of the world you are. Thank you.